Hey guys, Daniel here, doing a bit of a different video to what I normally do. There's a good reason for it. So I'm back here at CRANMORE station at the East Somerset Railway, and I've actually come to see this little beauty over here. It's a Class 08 shunter diesel that is being loaned out to the East Somerset Railway, 08704 to be exact. So yeah, I wanted to come down and just see it because I personally love these little locomotives. They're beautiful little things indeed. I find them very underrated, and I just fancied coming to have a little peek at this little marvel.
The Class 08, in essence, is kind of a success story for British Railways, modern railway engineering, and engineering in general, really. Based on a London Midland Scotland railway design, it basically stood the test of time, with over 990 Class 08s built in its time, and even later classes based on its model.
You can see some of the paint flaking off. She's a bit of a rusty girl, but some people like that. Some people like the industrial sort of hard-working look. Some people like their locomotives to look clean. I think the clean look obviously works for the nice-looking ones like the Flying Scotsman, maybe the Lady Nana sort of thing. You know, like the Ivet 46447, that was very dirty, but it gave it charm, you know? Like this one shows that this one's a hard worker.
I believe that there are even some Class 08s still at work on the main line today.
As you can see, it's just very gently ticking away. They've turned the engine off for a minute. We'll try and get some engine turn on footage if we can. They've actually let me onto the little footplate to see all the insides, and it looks almost like it does on Train Sim World.
When I hopped up, one of the volunteers, I believe he was the driver, was telling me a bit about all the different workings of the dials, the modes, and the controls and different pulls you had from inside the little cab here. It was really cool to see. Like, again, you know, you see Train Sim World and you see it in 3D in real life. It just feels incredible, and yep, looks exactly like it did in the game. And there's a lot to see. It looks daunting, but the way they described it honestly made it feel so much easier. Now, obviously, just because a Class 08 is capped at 50 miles an hour doesn't mean it's necessarily a safer engine to drive. You still need to go through a lot of training in order to be able to drive this effectively. But other than that, I respect anyone that's able to do this.
Obviously, that won't move until
that's pulled up. And this little dongle here is the little horn.
Yeah, that's the horn. Cool.
That's cute.
Engine only start. So
Oh.
without that, that's effectively your ignition key.
I was going to say, I thought that was a spanner, but no, that's actually just
that goes in there when you want to start it.
quite a heavy-duty key.
Yeah, put that from on engine only. Hold it at start. Yeah,
Why?
it will start.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So what does that do, battery discharge and charge?
Well, obviously, when your battery is when you're starting it, the generator's not running, so it'll discharge, and it tells you whether the main batteries are being charged by the generator or discharging.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
That's one of your brake pressure gauges.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is another one, and that's your coolant temperature. Traction current, 0 to 600,000 amps at low load, and that's your speed.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Just listen. It's definitely louder down this way. There's something oddly satisfying about that clicking sound. I don't know what it is. It's like ASMR. Listen to that. Looks like they're getting that rumbling. Actually, let's cross over a minute. Whoa, listen to that. What a roar. Rumble, rumble.
Okay, so I quickly hopped into the coach, took my seat, and got comfy. Played a bit with my hair because it was a bit windy.
My hair's a mess.
And wouldn't you know it, it had just started to rain. Of course. Typical British weather. As soon as we hit the summer months, it starts to hammer down. We do have good summers, but today was not a brilliant day for weather. But, you know, you make the best of it. Little toot of the horn, my ticket punched, and we were on our way. As you can see, there was a bit of a jolt as it got started. I mean, these are shunter diesels. You wouldn't expect them to do general passenger runs, but it did take off quite slowly regardless. While sat down or looking out the window, I was doing a little bit of reflection on rail travel and steam and diesel, and major discussions that come up from it.
People seem to get into disagreements about whether steam or diesel is superior or not. I don't think that's really the case. Just the fact that we have heritage or old locomotives in general is just incredible, because it shows that they can stand the test of time, especially compared to cars that probably can't be rebuilt as much anymore. But then again, I guess it's the same principle, but also you don't really feel the incline because of the speed you go. You don't really experience it the same way that the locomotive actually does. Like, you know it's there, but it doesn't feel like much.
Back at CRANMORE, I was talking to one of the volunteers, and they were telling me that this diesel was faulty. Apparently this old girl wasn't really pulling the tons that she should be able to, and apparently they did struggle a bit doing this passenger run because it should really take more, and apparently the brakes are a bit off too, but I don't know, I felt it was quite a nice, decent ride. Did quite well, all things considered. I could hear a bit of straining though, but anyway, made it to Mendip Vale. Had a little look at the locomotive doing the turnaround business. I was honestly quite impressed. So yeah, if there really were issues, she is a fighter, this one. Anyway, I've talked enough. Let's take a look at the footage of the Class 08 doing her job now, and I'll catch up with you back at CRANMORE.
That was absolutely lovely. Nice gentle ride along the Mendip Vale. Have a little peek now as they get ready for their cream tea special, and we'll see 08704 ball out. No need to water that locomotive.
I never done a cream tea service before. Honestly, I think the whole idea is lost on me. One, I'm not fancy. I know you don't have to be, but still. Two, a lot of the foods they do at these cream teas, I would not eat. I'm a very picky eater. I think a lot of neurodivergent people typically are. So I think I'd probably just pick its scraps. The only thing I go for is the Prosecco, the tea, and the coffee. If they did like a Cornish pasty special or something like that, I'd be well down. I considered their roast dinner service, but they are quite expensive admittedly. But if it's to go back to the funds of the railway, I think it's worth it. There's nothing I love more than watching a locomotive buffer up to its consist. There's something quite satisfying about hearing that clunk to me. I enjoyed riding behind a diesel for a change. It's nice to actually look at different types of engine power in a locomotive to appreciate the power of railway transport as a whole. Anyway, I crossed the road, went to the pub, had a pint, met up with my dad, and we headed home. But wait, there's more.
Okay, I'm just lying in bed now, and I've just seen something really, really cool. So I was just browsing my tablet when I saw that the East Somerset Railway have put on their website and on their Facebook, they're doing these diesel driver for a tenner. So for £10, you can drive the Class 08 and get a taste of what it's like to drive these fantastic little marvels. You know, I'm thinking I might go for it. It sounds like it'll be a lot of fun. So I'm going to do the order now.
I woke up the next day, got ready, and the heavens opened. Sadly, it was not a good day for weather, but that didn't stop us, and they were still running the event. I got there nice and early, got myself a latte whilst I waited, thought I'd hang around CRANMORE station for a bit, just taking some of the fresh air, and just enjoy the scenery. There's a Class 08 there, ready to do the driver for a tenner. And in the distance, the Class 108 DMU was actually out doing passenger duty, which was actually really nice to see. You don't see it much, so yeah, this was quite a treat.
This engine here is another beauty as well. I actually did a little coverage of this one during my Diesel and Burger evening video that I did with my dad, and he wasn't that fond of them, and I quite liked them. I think my dad's more of a steam guy too. I am as well, but you got to appreciate that, especially in Railway 200, diesels also have their place in railway preservation and life. And honestly, they're quite charming. Quite a simple yet effective little design. Today's trains just don't compare. Actually, one of my favorite things about this one they have in preservation here at CRANMORE is they have these interchangeable nameplates for where this train is going. Nowadays we're used to it being all digital and all that, but there's something quite charming about the old traditional ways. Besides, digital screens can mess up over time. So it looks like we're going to be going up and down this straight stretch of line here, which actually might be easier, not specifically for the Class 08, which was struggling a tiny bit yesterday, but did do quite well. But when doing the steaming for 15 with Lady Nan, there's a bit of like an incline and a decline, which could make it a little bit more difficult. So this might actually work in our favor, because there's no like need for the train to turn around or the loco to turn around like with the steams. It would just be easy to just go up and down, which I suppose is a benefit to using diesel or DMU travel or diesel electric travel today compared to steam, but it wouldn't be a heritage railway if there wasn't any of that experience of seeing it turn around, because there's a lot of heart to it, I guess. Then again, travel isn't quite like what it was back then. It was a lot more easier going than today's hectic hustle and bustle.
DMU is off on her travels up to Mendip Vale. So whilst I waited, I thought I'd just watch it go on her way. Now all was left to do was just wait for the driver to come aboard and help us drive this Class 08. and I was getting a little bit antsy while I was waiting. It was a bit of a long one. It was meant to start at 12. It started a bit later, but again, I guess they weren't really keeping to the timetable for the DMU. It was quite a lax, slow and gentle day today, so I guess they didn't have that many people doing it. There were quite a few people doing it after I did, but yeah, there was still some interest in it. So I guess they were just sort of getting everything ready. Again, maybe something happened with the DMU or the Class 08. Again, things can happen. But yeah, that's what set me into a bit of a worry. But apparently those worries were in vain, because I did go and ask someone on the other platform, and they did fill me in what was going on. Here's me a little bit unsure about that sound. Apparently that's normal. I believe it's a cooling mechanism, if I remember correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, that sound was not pleasant. Anyway, here comes the DMU. I might ask the guard what's going on quickly.
Well, I got my answer. There's going to be a little lunch gap. That they're going to fire up the 08 then. So, no, they've actually just let me on to have a quick ride on here, which was really nice of them. Very comfortable, actually. Way more comfortable than the Hitachis today. I know that. My dad and I went to Didcot Railway Centre. That was an experience. I mean, the day was fine. It's just Hitachi trains feel like rock when you sit on them. These are nice and bouncy and comfy.
You're going to see here the difference in how the DMU pulls out compared to 08704. Smooth and gentle, with a purr. That's one of the major differences, that 08704, or Class 08 in general, have a mighty roar when they jump to life. DMUs have a gentle purr as they glide along the line. Reminds me of Daisy from the Railway series, believe it or not. And again, made it back to Mendip Vale. We didn't have to spend a lot of time waiting for the turnaround. We just sat there for a bit and relaxed, and made our way back to CRANMORE. Again, I'm so thankful they just let me have a ride. It was so kind of them. Honestly, kindness like that is what brings you back here all the time. The volunteers are friendly, willing to chat to you, show you all the inner workings and mechanisms. Real treat here. If you've never, ever, been to the East Somerset Railway and you're down the Somerset area, like Shepton Mallet, Froome, or anything like that, please come on down. It's so worth it.
I really enjoyed that ride. Can't go wrong with a rail car.
Alright, finally, it's time to hop back over to Platform 2 and finally drive 08704. So I had to wait for the driver. He was just sorting out a few things. It only took a couple minutes. I didn't have to wait long, so I just admired the side rods. You like my kicks? I love me some Doc Martens. Anyway, he showed up, got the door open, and we stepped inside. He got me more familiar with the workings of the different dials and the controls compared to what I was told. After confirming with the station guard that everything was all good to go, I was allowed to set off. As you can see, I went for a gentle approach because, again, you don't want to completely jolt it, because that would just be dangerous, and it could, you know, I don't know if it works like a car, but because I can't drive, really. I don't drive cars. But I imagine it would probably, you know, like when you jolt the car and it, I can't remember what it's called, but it jolts it and kills the engine, basically. So I was going for a gentle approach, which I think, you know, is probably the best way to go about it. Not that it moves fast anyway, but surprisingly smooth for a diesel shunter. There's a bit of swaying a little bit, but I think that's to be expected. It's not like a glamorous job shunting. But no, the way the driver explained everything made it super easy, and it reminded me of playing Class 08s and, or Class 09s in Train Sim World 4. I haven't tried 5 yet. I will soon. I've got it working on my laptop. Here I am coming back, and I'm getting a bit more confident here. He's allowing me a bit more speed. Obviously, I didn't want to overdo it, but again, treat the engines with respect. But no, it was honestly loads of fun. I might try and do this with my dad sometime. We both did Lady Nan steaming for 15. I don't know why steaming for 15 went up from driver for a tenner. I'm guessing it's something to do with like extra costs to try and support the railway, which I'm happy to do. But yeah, after I finished my turn, brought her into a nice slow finish, and we hopped off. I thanked the driver for showing me everything. I felt really good about it. Again, I don't think I could do this full time. I respect drivers and firemen, especially on steam locos, for the work they do. This would take a lot of manual labor or mental labor for me, especially.
There we go. You get a lot more of a ride than I thought you were going to get. It's just going to be up and down the platform. But no, it takes you a bit further than you would do steaming for 15 with Lady Nan. That was really fun and incredibly easy. Of course, you got the driver there to help you out, but yeah. For a while, I wondered if I was the only one that actually did this experience. But you know what? There might be some more people going over. I don't know. I'll hang around for a little bit and see. I wonder if the controls on this one are very, very similar. I know there's different like buzzers. One of them is like communication from one side of the train to the other. I think it's that one. But yeah.
Now the engine shed was closed today, but as I was making my way down the path, it just started raining heavy again. And of course the sun comes out a little bit more as the my day is nearly done. I didn't stay all the time, I stayed until 2, but I did get some nice footage of 08704 going up and down the line. There were quite a few people actually waiting after me, which was good to see. I'm guessing this one isn't advertised as much. Again, it was sort of like advertised on the fly, so who knows, maybe if there's a lot more interest, maybe they will do them a bit more before 08704 has to go again. I don't know how long the loan is for this one, but anyway, that's about as far as you will go past those coaches there and the signal. So yeah, quite a bit of distance and a bit more than Lady Nan. So who knows, hopefully they'll do a lot more of these in the future. I know they do like, you know, more intense driver experiences, but they cost a bit more and it's for a full day and everything. I'll have to think about whether it's something I want to do. So it's nice to actually have these local experiences to give you a flavour of it if that's something you want to do. Anyway, I'm going to stop waffling now. I'm going to leave you with a bit more footage before I head off. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like this type of video where I talk instead of you reading text, do let me know. I'll make more videos like that in the future. I'm looking to sort of downplay the usage of subtitles because I like to add information about new locomotives. That's probably what I'll keep doing it for, but I won't make it an obsession, if you know what I mean. But yeah, also, not all of my videos will have music anymore. People aren't fond of having music because it distracts from the audio. I try not to have it too loud, but after actually looking back at some of the footage, yeah, having music away does make my videos a bit more interesting to watch instead of just thinking, oh, where's that new music coming from? Plus, I don't have to deal with copyright issues because of YouTube and Google being the way it is. So, I am listening to feedback, and I'm always open to feedback if anyone has it. If I don't respond to all of them, don't take it personally. I am taking on what you say. I just know I wouldn't have the best responses, so I just better to just leave it at that and just take it on. But until then, again, thank you all so much for watching this video. If you do like what you see here, want to see more, like, share the video, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell. Let's appreciate a little birdie as the sun was gazing down. Oh, I think the bird noticed she was on camera. Hello, little birdie. Hello. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you down the line. Take care.